I just want to do a quick update on the garden setup here. Um, you can see kind of how things have evolved. I ended up having to cut a lot of the leaves off of this tree because it got pretty scalded from the sun. We had a pretty rough summer just past us. So I cut all the leaves off, and it's growing out some nice new shoots here. And hopefully this branches up nicely. But it's growing, but it's a pretty slow grower. But that is the pygmy date palm. This plant is doing great. This is the Dorset golden apple. Um, this was a very small tree, but it's a very vigorous grower. And I had it cut down all the way to the very bottom there. And this is about a year and a half of growth, and it's taken off pretty good. Next to that, we have the all-in-one almond. This one didn't do too well this year, again due to the heat. I just didn't up the watering requirements. A newly planted tree definitely needs a lot of extra water and a little extra care. So I was out of town a lot, and I didn't get a chance to really care for this one as good as it needed. This is a plum tree, and it's doing okay. But I think what I'm going to do is remove this plum and this almond, and I'm going to take that right over there, which is the Jujube, and relocate it to here because that's going to be a big tree. And this apple tree looks like it's going to grow a pretty good size. So I don't want to get them too clumped up. I want to have a little bit of space in between the trees. So that's what I'm going to do. It's starting to lose its leaves here because of the weather. It looks like this is the first one to shed its leaves. It used to be a very bright green, so this one's going to go to sleep very soon. So that's typically when you want to move a tree. So I'm going to take this one once it fully defoliates and relocate it to this spot. Hopefully it does well with that transition. And these two I'm going to get rid of. I think I got enough trees and enough food. They're already starting to give out a lot, and I think that's more than enough. Next to this Jujube, which by the way, this tree did really well this year for its first year. It was literally in the ground for 6 months, and it started giving out delicious fruit. I had about maybe 30 Jujube fruit on this one, and they're really good sized, delicious fruit. So definitely one you should add to your collection. The only drawback to this is, of course, it's got thorns on it, but definitely not something that would discourage me from buying this kind of tree. All right, guys, I have to record over this one because it was just a little too windy out in this area. So I'm going to continue just narrating over the video. This is a fig tree. This is a raspberry latte fig tree. Great variety. It's still fairly young, maybe about close to 2 years now, and produces nicely every year. It produces a few times a year. And this is, I believe this one's a brown turkey. This one was given as a gift. But I grafted, if you've seen some of my earlier videos, I grafted a few different varieties onto this one. And there's one of the grafts. That's a white Madeira #1. This is the regular brown turkey, which I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Tastes very similar to it. And you can see it's got some ripening fruit on it. These are delicious. They're just kind of like a melony flavor, very juicy. That's a graft that didn't take, unfortunately, but I have a few that did. So that's one of them right there. That's the Socorro Black. I have a white Madeira and a black Mission attached to that tree. This is the wonderful pomegranate, and this thing's just like a weed. I mean, it grows so well, needs very little care. The only thing I would suggest is if you want to keep this looking nice, that when it defoliates, trim it and shape it the way you like. This is an apricot tree, which I may be relocating this year because I think it's going to be too crowded in this area. Because this lemon tree, which is a Eureka lemon, is doing really well. I think between the Eureka lemon and the pomegranate, that might be just enough space because I want to be able to get around these trees. Right here you have a gold nugget loquat tree. this is its time to start blossoming. So you can see those buds starting to form, and they'll soon be opening up. Wonderful variety to add to your landscape if you probably zone 7 and up is what you need, but you might want to look into that. But I grew it in zone 7 before. Now I'm in a higher zone, but a great variety, aesthetically pleasing, smells great, produces delicious fruit. This is a Cara Naval Orange tree. Produces navel oranges that have a pink inside. Typically considered more healthy than a standard navel orange because of that compound inside it that gives it that pink flesh. This right here is a Fajoya, a pineapple guava tree. Another unusual variety, but if you haven't tasted it, it's really a delicious variety of fruit. Very kind of sour, pineapple-y banana flavor. This is a palm. This is just a miniature palm I put just for, to break the landscape up. This is an Oro Blanco Grapefruit. Doing well. It's a semi-dwarf variety, but put on some thickness on the trunk. Put a little bit of growth out, but hopefully next year we'll get a little better growth. This is a Trovita Orange. You can see a couple of oranges there ripening up on the bottom. A very delicious variety of orange. Great for juicing and fresh eating. Just super tangy flavor compared to a more bland type of navel orange. This is a kumquat. My favorite from the variety. This is a fukushu kumquat. It's kind of a touch sour and sweet. Some of them are overpoweringly sweet. Some are overpoweringly sour. The sweet ones are just bland. This gives you sweet and sour. So a really nice variety and a very good looking tree. This is Tango Mandarin. It's a seedless mandarin. It's a very small tree, as you can see, but already has a bunch of little mandarins on there. That's a great variety, especially for kids, the seedless. I don't really care that one's seedless or seeded, because sometimes the seeded ones are delicious, but my kids, they boycott the seeded fruit, so that's why I put some seedless in for them. This one is what they call the Algerian clementine. It's like the typical clementine that you find in the store. This may have some seeds in it, and you can see the fruit there. This one is maybe about a year old. This is a standard variety, so it's not a dwarf or semi-dwarf, which most of my citrus are. So we'll see how big it gets, but I have no problem shaping these and trying to manage their size. But anyway, that's the yard, guys. I figured I'd give you a quick update. If you're interested in seeing the progress, subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.